Martial arts, the art of combat. As we have seen, this also includes the use of weapons. Our deadly weapon countdown will look at 5 of them. Each will be given the score in speed, adaptability, effectiveness, skill, and durability. That with the highest total will be deemed deadliest weapon. Harking back to the Qing dynasty, the last dynasty of China, is the flying guillotine. This weapon is best described as a hat with blades inserted around the rim. A metal chain is attached. Typically, the user would throw this weapon onto the head of an enemy. The top portion remains on the head like a hat, while the serrated rim falls to the neck. Pulling the chain causes the blades to close in, decapitating the victim. Imagine your best friend throws a frisbee toward you as fast as possible. Can you dodge it? Maybe, maybe not. The flying guillotine is pretty much like this, just deadlier. It can be quick, but the fact that it's usually thrown can give the opponent enough time to dodge. Usually this weapon excels at medium range fighting, keeping the target at bay. Now if the chain is broken, then the weapon is useless, right? Nope, it can then be used as a close range weapon. When used by a master at medium range, the weapon can't mess up. Once it's on somebody's head, the kill is guaranteed. The only issue the flying guillotine has is when used as a melee weapon, where it loses its inherent lethality, though this is merely its backup use. The flying guillotine is light enough to be thrown, but heavy enough that a good amount of force must be used to reach contact with its target. To achieve a kill, it needs to directly land on the target's head. As you may have guessed, there are several drawbacks to this weapon. If the chain is broken, the medium-range fighting style is lost. It is possible to damage its interior blades. This also creates a hazard for the user, as this affects the main attribute of the weapon.
The katana is easily one of the most iconic symbols of Eastern martial arts and is characterized by a curved, slender, single-edged 60-centimeter blade, a rounded guard, and a long grip. Having the length of blade that it does, the katana is not as light and fast as other smaller weapons. However, the katana is amongst the lightest swords manufactured and was built to strike an opponent with lightning quickness. Although the katana is a very effective weapon, it is not always adaptable to every situation. In very close combat, sometimes a smaller, shorter weapon is more effective. In addition to this, a katana is large in size and not as easy to carry around everywhere. Once contact is made against an opponent, it will cause serious damage, even death. However, with some level of skill, the katana is not too difficult to defend against, even with another sword or wooden stick. Also, because the katana may only be used in close combat, this weapon is highly ineffective if your opponent is a distance away. Proper use of a katana requires much skill and training. Many martial artists practice and train with a katana for years before feeling properly ready for use in battle. Katanas are made to be extremely durable throughout battle and last for a very long time. The effective thing about fighting with a katana is that once in possession of one, a fighter may strike continuously over and over again indefinitely.
From feudal Japan is the kasarigama, a mix between ranged and melee weapon. It's a sickle attached to a chain with the weight at the end. Usually the user whips the chain to entangle his opponent or opponent's weapon, and then move in attacking with the sickle. The kasarigama isn't a particularly heavy weapon. Twirling the chain allows the wielder to build up great speed. The sickle can be used as a regular sickle at close range or swung from more range. The chain entangles enemy weapons or limbs. This, however, is more difficult to use in tightly packed spaces. Depending on where a person is hit and which part of the weapon makes contact, wounds may not be lethal. The weight can be used as stun, though the sickle tends to do the most harm. Knowing how to fight with a sickle, swing a chain, and use it accurately all contribute to the ability to use this weapon. Definite skill is required in order to twirl the chain without injuring oneself. As with any blade, the sickle must be kept sharp. The chain allows the sickle to be recovered, which prolongs its use. The only drawback to the kasarigama is if the chain is broken, then this weapon is mostly useless, though this rarely happens.
Next on our list is the chakram. The chakram is a throwing weapon which originated in India and is in the shape of a flat metal hoop with a sharp outer edge ranging from 5 to 12 inches in diameter. Having the circular aerodynamic shape that it does, this weapon can fly at extremely fast speeds. Due to its smaller compact size and ability to be carried around with ease, this weapon is easily adaptable in almost any situation and may even be used in close combat. Once a chakram is in flight, it is very difficult to defend against. The only way to defend against it is to be protected behind another large object, such as a shield. Unless you're extremely quick, it would be very difficult to run away from it if thrown at. If it comes in contact with an opponent, it will cause serious damage and even possible decapitation. The very neat feature of this weapon is its ease of use. The popular Sarshani technique does take a lot of practice and skill though. However, the most common way of tossing this weapon is similar to how a frisbee is thrown, which is a very common skill almost anybody could perform. Although this weapon may be quite potent in causing injury, it should be noted that in terms of reusability, this weapon is lacking. In the movie Shinobi, the weapon demonstrated boomerang-like qualities. However, in reality, this would not be so, and once this weapon is tossed at, it may not be reused unless retrieved from the far distance it is thrown. This may possibly leave the attacker defenseless depending on how many other of these weapons he is carrying with him. However, this weapon may also be used up close and not thrown, but simply used to slash with while holding. These weapons are built to be very durable and strong as well.
Poison needles are just that, needles which have been dipped in deadly poisons. Poisoning as a form of assassination has been around since 331 BC. The needles can be thrown or shot out very quickly. Massive amounts of needles are used in rapid succession. The needles can be used to poke at close range and thrown or shot from various objects at mid-range. Their easy concealment and varying range allow them to be used in most situations. Contact with exposed flesh should be lethal for most situations. However, this depends on the type of poison being used. The target may have a resistance, or the poison may be slow-acting, allowing time for an antidote to be used. From a distance, if enough needles are used at once, not much skill is needed, otherwise accuracy is important. At close range, a simple scratch with a needle should be enough. Small, difficult to retrieve, and easily bent, these weapons are not likely reusable. Rather than reusing needles, a person would just carry a large amount of them.